two heads in this case are better than one. Jakiro has so much more offensive power than Winter Wyvern, though his defensive power is kind of lacking. It seems like Complexity may just want to hop right back on the push train. They don't really want to play a lot of Dota today, and can't really blame them. It takes a lot of time. Liquid Fire is just always going to be that engine that lets you push pretty much no matter what. Like Darkseer is the mech carrier. Jakiro, whether he's played as some crazy mid laner or as a support, a little bit more normal there, the pressure is certainly going to mount on Root Gaming side. But we can already see with the Templar Assassin pick, Root have another hero that can fight super early on and really wants to fight super early on. So they should be at least expecting this, so expect to see that reflected in their bans and future picks. Hello?
Oh, hello. Sorry, my mic got muted. I am really smart. I was having to type something quickly. Apparently not. We just wanted to check if people can find this game in Dota TV. Seems that we may have had some ticketing issues. Hopefully we won't have to go to a remake for that. But either way, Dazzle picked up Ember Spirit. Ember Spirit's kind of interesting. It feels like Ember is a hero who he didn't get tweaked at all in the previous patch, but his timings have gotten worse on that Battle Fury, on other things that he goes. They're all later in this patch. So it feels like a lot of the mids getting buffed in a way that makes them better against Ember.
Also, like Ember Spirit with the Winter Wyvern pretty much guarantees his escape in any given gank and at any time. Winter Wyvern may die, but you're a support hero. That's just the price that you have to pay in those situations. The counter push of the Ember Spirit, again, he's another hero who can fight early. Maybe he doesn't exactly want to fight as early and as often as Templar Assassin. If he does get a little bit ahead, then any pushing plan that you have from Complexity is suddenly just out the window. So I think these picks are the bans rather from Complexity are perfectly reasonable, and especially now from Root, just as reasonable. Enigma, not exactly a super common pickup, but if you're expecting a pusher, Enigma can do the job. Yeah,
it's also a targeted ban. It's very well known that Z-Freak plays a lot of jungle heroes. It's kind of his bread and butter. So Enigma support he's very comfortable and very effective with. He lands fantastic black holes and so on. So I think Root Gaming just deciding they don't want to deal with any of that. A lot of the times, especially with a hero like TA who doesn't have great range, they might be picking other melee heroes. You have to just play so much more spread out. You maybe lose out on kills because you don't want to get black holed. Makes your life a little bit simpler. And instead they go with the Gyrocopter. He is still a good hero after his nerfs, but he doesn't carry, or he doesn't do as much damage output as he used to early. And Flat Cannon, a lot of people think Gyro's this hard carry. Flat Cannon is 6 shots over 30 seconds. So you're not carrying maybe as hard as people think you are.
I think like putting all your eggs in the Gyrocopter basket, not exactly what you want to be doing nowadays, but when you have a Templar Assassin also on your team, your Gyrocopter could even go for like a really tanky oriented build like SNY into Lifesteal. I even saw a Gyrocopter go for Satanic, and I mean, I wouldn't recommend that all the time. Or not Satanic, AC rather. I would recommend Satanic.
Yeah, I would. I was going to say.
AC, which is kind of weirder, but with Templar Assassin, you get that mixed single target, focus fire, and of course the spread damage, the chaos causing effects of that Gyrocopter. So it is another hero that, if needed, can fight early on. So just now going up against all these kind of active early cores, do Complexity want to change their game plan? It's definitely not too late. Jakiro lets you push, but it doesn't mean you only have to push.
Yeah, I don't think they've dedicated themselves. Jakiro, even though he does bring a lot of push to the table, as does Darkseer, I don't think they've dedicated them to push, I say, as they pick Razor, who has an Aghanims upgrade that is all push. But I still think a lot of these heroes just have great utility, right? Darkseer Vacuum coupled with Razor's Eye of the Storm, Jakiro's Macropyre, Ice Path, you can get a lot of AoE work done here. So it's not necessarily going to be a push lineup. I think it's really going to hinge on what carry Complexity goes for, and I do hope that they pick something that can maybe go a little bit later this time. Again, the Ember Spirit has been banned out really early, allowing an easy PL with kind of no easy ostensible counter coming out. So Complexity could pick up the PL, and Root can do nothing here to stop them. They can't afford it right now.
Razor's the pick, though, for Complexity. It kind of fits right into the middle of everything, and sometimes it's good, sometimes that's bad. If you know your matchup, and the matchup this time should be the Templar Assassin, you're going to be feeling pretty good about it. Looking at the supports from Root, or at least, I guess, support from Root, Winter Wyvern, you should probably just, like, dump a burn onto the Razor at level 1, maybe hang around for a little bit, but for the most part, it doesn't look like there's going to be a ton of rotations messing with that mid lane matchup. So for complexity, this is just like a rock in the lane. And it's kind of the same thing as the Darkseer, who may have a rougher time, may have an easier time, but for the most part is always going to get the job done in lane.
Yeah. So this Clockwork pickup, it's kind of... I feel like he can be a bit of a pain to the Darkseer. You can certainly disrupt things. But of course, if you ever hookshot that Razor, he's just going to static link you, steal all of your damage, and you're going to wish you weren't cogged in with him. So it'll be interesting to see. Complexity also, I feel like the Clockwork makes the Phantom Lancer an even better pick here. He can doppelganger out of those cogs. Yes, if Root Gaming times all of their CC here perfectly, they can probably pick him off, but... I mean, he's going to have to get hookshotted, which is difficult to do with all of those illusions around, or they'll have to use the Winter's Curse and then use the hookshot. There's just a lot they have to do before the Doppelganger comes out. It did get a cost point increase, but still pretty fantastic at getting you out.
Like, Roots have an okay amount of burst, but like Gyrocopter's not exactly enough. Templar Assassin needs the Blink Dagger first. The only concern I would have if I was Complexity, this isn't really an even big one, is that, like, oh, Root has still one more pick to counter it, but, I mean, just grab the Phantom Lancer now, you'll probably be happy. It may just not be in their game plan, like, not in the grand plan of their draft right now, and it seems like they will hold on to that pick for right now. It's a Disruptor instead for the Complexity side. It offers them that setup for the Ice Path, and Ice Path isn't really a spectacular lane-killing tool, but with Disruptor on your side, it does get a lot better.
10 seconds remaining.
So I love the Disruptor here. I'm really liking Complexity's draft. It feels like they realized last game they were having a lot of trouble going head to head, and they're just saying, look, you wanna go head to head? Every time we have our ults up, we're just gonna drop them all on your face. Take that. I mean, what is it, like a 500 AoE range? Yeah, pretty much a 550 AoE range of business all over everybody's faces on Root Gaming, and they are not gonna have a good time when that static field vacuum or all of Razor's toolkit is up. But the Silencer and Tusk ban out Silencer makes heaps of sense here with Complexity's teamfight oriented lineup. The Tusk, I'm a little bit surprised by that. Did they think it was like a core Jakiro on Root to ban the Tusk? Carry Tusk?
Tusk is like really good at pseudo soft countering the Clockwork and the Gyrocopter as well. So like just up against what Root Gaming have, Tusk would have been good in theory. I don't really know if Tusk would have fit in here since core Jakiro, as much as I love the hero, in your core role especially, isn't really a thing. They could have done it, but I'm not really sure how well that would have worked out up against the hook shot. So not really sure on that one. But we got a Silencer ban from the Complexity side as Root. Well, yeah, looking for another support. Silencer just to jam up the combo of the Darkseer, of the Glimpse Static Storm for the Disruptor. Yeah, would have had a lot of upside there for Root.
Yeah, and it's a bounty hunter. Okay, I finally get to see one in action. I'm excited. I don't know whether it's good or bad. We've discussed last game my hesitation with the hero, but I'm still excited to see it. And Track is still, even though the AoE vision got nerfed, the gold you get from it is still fantastic. If this bounty hunter can get level 6, you know, before 10 minutes, maybe even at the 12-minute mark, with a Gyrocopter TA Clockwork, there's going to be a lot of kills going down all over the map. And if bounty hunter can make sure he's a part of them, early Guardian Greaves, early whatever he wants, really. And also helping out his team, of course.
It gives a little bit more of an aggressive slant to the Root Gaming side. We expected would play a little bit more defensively in this game, especially given after last game. But this is something that Complexity really have to be careful of. If they get picked off just a single time, then their push strategy, which seemingly has dissolved since the Jakiro pick, is going to be that much more punished. The Slark is the pick for the Complexity Gaming side. Anti-Clockwork in the sense that you just jump right out of it. Templar Assassin, Bounty Hunter, you struggle up against this hero with the defensive charges of TA, not really doing a ton versus that Pact. Seems like a pretty reasonable pick for Complexity, and it does put them a little bit more into that mid-rangey strategy, going away from the all-in push.
Yeah, Slot can be one of the hardest carries in the game. Fantastic against the TA and Wyvern. You're going to have to correct me if I'm wrong on this. I believe through both Cold Embrace and Refractions, you can steal essences? Or am I
as long
confused?
as you're hitting, then you're getting stats.
He's kind of viewed as a bit of a soft counter to both of those. Also the Dark Pact, you know, so you Cold Embrace someone. Well, have fun with that, says Slog. But again, he is one of those heroes who needs to get off to a good start. I wouldn't be surprised if Root tries to maybe rotate where their Clockwork is going, just because Clockwork, Slock is the clock killer. It is not good. So, let's get into introducing the teams, and we can discuss more who we think is going to do what. We've got, actually, I believe I introduced Root last time, so I will do Complexity. We've got Swindle Melons on that Razor, going to be heading up mid. Z-Freak on Jakiro. We've got Slock being played by Zizzy. Disruptor going to be played by Way2. And finally, I lied about the finally. MDW on that Darkseer. Tossing it over to you.
All right, for Root, they're going to put Derp on the Winter Wyvern. G-Easy is on the Gyrocopter. And we got, well, on my screen, still Koharu, but I think on your screen, 747 on the Templar Assassin. Stan King is on the Bounty Hunter. And that leaves Schwan on the Clockwork. Looks like he's just going to go top as per normal, though does have Boots of Speed first. Just trying to keep him out of harm's way. The Jakiro, if he is going to be support up on top, not exactly the best at poking just because of 400 range. So Boots may actually be more useful defensively for the Clockwork than like a Stout Shield or Ring of Protection or something like that.
Now, we've got a couple interesting things I wanted to talk about with these teams, which the pause thankfully provides us. We've got very few stuns kind of on the lineups. We've got a Rocket, and we've got the Battery Assault and the Winter's Curse. Oh, we got Shuriken, I lied. We got some mini stuns. We got mini stuns up in this business of Root Gaming. And then in Complexity for stuns, we've got Glimpse technically issues a stop command at the end, so, you know, that'll stop TPs. And Ice Path and Vacuum with stun. So I think a lot of people are going to be TPing out of stuff this game.
Especially Slark. Like, he needs like hard crowd control. You need to get on top of him first thing. If you're actually going to convincingly kill him off, yeah, you might scrape together a kill eventually down the line with like a blinking Templar Assassin or something like that. But if you're looking for the Slark just to get a pick, Hookshot, Cog Bounce back into Curse is really the only viable way it's done from Root, unless, you know, TA just gets completely nuts out of control, which is possible. This Slark is going to be very, very difficult to kill.
Yep. So going to be, I think, just a lot of escape gaming. The other thing I'm worried about in top is Slot can pounce out of the cogs. He can also pounce into them. It's a bit more difficult, but you can certainly get it. And with a Disruptor as well, Clockwork. Even with Boots, I think he's still going to fall victim to this a number of times. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe try to stack up the jungle leech from someone else. Even if the Bounty Hunter rotates, I'm not quite sure the two of them can do a lot of goodness here. And speaking of the Bounty Hunter, Stan in the danger zone. So I wonder if his name is just Stan King.
That's the worst.
That could just be a first-name boss name.
You're gonna poke Way2 twice with Orb of Venom, once into Zizzy. 3 shots, 4 shots for free.
Okay,
run Slark.
Actually doing a lot of damage, and the cogs push. That was a little bit... I really didn't expect that, right? You don't expect to see... They lost like a fourth of their health each? Okay, maybe a fifth. No, that was a fourth, my maths. So, actually already doing well, I would argue, on the Bounty Hunter. You've reduced the regen up there, and now he's going to scout for the Courier, but I doubt he'll get a Courier pick here, right? You have to know that your Couriers are in the danger zone against a Bounty Hunter.
Maybe if like 3 patches ago, Bounty Hunter used to be a pick, but this was just like last patch we saw Bounty Hunter in as many games as we had.
Z-Freak taking a lot of damage on the bottom lane. They do the Arctic Bone as well. They don't decide to follow him with another Rocket Barrage. He actually went Dual Breath first, and he threw that out, but got way more than he bargained for in return, already having to use up his salve.
The Jakiro Darkseer dual lane, that is not really what I expected. We got a poking fight up towards top. Looks like that should just be a damage trade, but this dual lane actually does have the intent of pushing, it seems. There's, you know, Dual Breath level 1, not Liquid Fire. The constant shove that you get from Ion Shell is usually going to put a lot of damage to the tower anyway. If you have Liquid Fire on top of that, your creeps last longer, obviously, but you also can kill the tower. And Gyrocopter, Winter Wyvern, they have like very mediocre clearing. It's not going to be super easy for them to hold this tower.
In mid, both of the mid heroes went Boots first. I'm not quite sure if one of them bought this with the bounty. I didn't quite see, but I really like it. Swindle, of course, wanting the Boots so that he can stay in range and get more damage from the static link. And we have an engagement up top. They're so tickled by this Orb of Venom. It's doing way more work than I was expecting, you know? On a level 1 bounty hunter. I can't believe. Stanley, maybe he'll go in for some more on ZZ. ZZ taking quite a bit. He doesn't have anything skilled up yet. He's about to get level 2 as well, so suddenly this bounty hunter needs to be careful. Invis doesn't save you from AoE damage of Dog Pact, and down bottom as well, getting really close to each other. I don't know. But yeah, this mid lane, both team heroes going Boots, trying to make sure they stay out of static link or stay in or out of static link range, and gonna kind of make it useless for both of them.
The matchup is historically pretty good for Razor, and since he already dropped the Sentry Ward, though it is timing out soon, the Bounty Hunter can't really do much to interrupt here. So 747, he's getting a couple of CS, but expect the Razor to stay, maybe not at the top of the last hit chart, but at least ahead of the Templar Assassin. The level 2 static link with the changes especially guarantees you get at least some damage out, and Templar Assassin has no magical recourse. She's always going to be right-clicking no matter what. So as long as Swindles drains, like what is he going to get, 30? 40? Yeah, that's good enough.
Yeah, he's like perfectly fine with any amount he gets, I think, in this lane. He should be, as you mentioned, once he gets the levels, winning it quite handily. Both of these heroes, though, can do jungle stacks pretty effectively. I think the team... Oh, what's going on? We have a super deep dive. Can they catch him? No, they can't. They're just going to rocket barrage on MJW's face, and... This game, nobody's blinking first, but now maybe they're going to do something. Swindle has the ward there. He's just going to do a lot of damage to Stan King, and finally the sentry will expire. Actually, Swindle eats it. Yeah, he got double regen. Stan King now having a lot of his damage stolen. He might just go down. Where is his ally? Swindle not going for the last hit, actually, just because he was out of range, I think, of that sentry. Yeah, Stan King smartly moving out of it, but both supports in these kind of aggressive tri lanes going back, and nice cogs push by Shuan. Not sure it's going to net him anything, but well played.
Well, he is level 4 right now. Darkseer isn't too far behind for as much pressure as the Disruptor and Slark can apply to Slark. Kill threat, I should say. He is getting a lot of experience, a lot more than any given offlaner usually gets. So it's still going okay for Root, despite the fact that across the board they kind of are falling behind in CS. If you look at the last hit chart, it's just like all red on top and then big chunk of green in the middle. But that's kind of what you would expect. But Complexity definitely have a draft that can go super hard into the mid game and really abuse the fact that they are just slightly ahead.
Yeah, do we have any? I don't see any stacks at all. Because they've decided to run these dual lanes, you see this sometimes. You don't have one member of the tri-lane who's free to just go and stack up. So both teams are not going to get any of that early burst economy that they can easily do. And it'll be interesting just to see if the CS lead really pulls into something else. So Gyro, of course, having a rough time against the Ion Shell. He is ranged, but he's 365 range. So it's basically melee. It's I don't know, poor man's range? What do we call it?
Yeah, I mean, like, he's like Templar Assassin, right? Technically ranged,
yeah.
I think is the best way to put it, but you don't always have the lane control of a ranged hero. We can see bottom lane, like, the tower's already starting to take some shots. Random dual breath got him, I guess, but Stan King...
He's been very liberal with that. I haven't seen this before where folks just use it all the time. Yeah, he's got a mango, and I know he had a clarity at some point, but...
Mid.
They're just gonna tickle each other. Oh, did they? Oh gosh, Bounty Hunter, can he do it? But at the same time, there's a static link in mid. I don't think this is gonna come of anything because there's a DD, and Bounty Hunter, he doesn't actually go for it. He gets spotted out by the tower, so now they know he's there. I don't know what's going on with Stan King. I don't think he'll be able to catch the GR. They completely reroute the courier for that, and crisis averted in Donkey Land. They're gonna put an Arctic Bone onto Z-Freak, but with these Ion Shells around, they can't get anything. Splinter Blow's totally missing by Dop. Stan King is here. The chip damage hero that we deserve. So maybe he can make something happen.
I don't know. This is a Jakiro and Darkseer we're talking about. These are like two of the most tanky intelligence heroes in the game. Orb of Venom may put in its work, but it may not be enough. That was unfortunate for Stan King. Like, he didn't see the courier. It is nighttime when you try to go for that, so he's like, oh, well, I guess there's no courier coming. Until he walked away and he realized there was a courier coming. I think he might have been able to snag that if he was just a little bit more patient. But at the same time, you're a bounty hunter. You know that the faster you get to level 6, the better, like, for the entire team. It's kind of understandable that he plays a little bit impatiently, since level 3 is fine for a support hero, but not exactly where he wants to be right now.
Yeah, he, of course, we talked about those timings already. 10, 12 minutes in, you really need that level 6. So MJW just going to run his creeps back a little bit. It's kind of funny because a lot of these lanes...
again.
Oh, is he going to find it? Oh, gosh, Stan Lee is right there. He sees it. But will he be able to get it on the return? Now, melee heroes have bonus damage against the courier. So, oh, gosh, and in bottom, is something happening? No, they're just backing out. Stan Lee stalking. Wants this courier. Can he do it? Courier's life is on the line. Stan Lee smokes up again. He's going to walk slightly out of vision. It's nighttime again. He can't reach it. Yeah, that's life. But in the meantime, Swindle's coming down here. They have an aggressive board, and he has an invis, so they're gonna have no idea. I think our first blood is gonna be happening. Dub taking a lot of damage. Even if he uses that cold embrace, it's just gonna not save him from the magic damage. He is gonna use it. The beautiful hook shot in by Xuan, keeping them all away from Dub, who's still boning. Can they get it with the rocket barrage? It looks like they can. Gyrocopter and Clockwork getting the first blood. Dub and Xuan getting away with. Oh, Dub has sub 100. Xuan had heaps of health. He's a strength hero.
It's so rare that we see like a Clockwork who's having an okay time have that much of an impact. Getting 2 kills for the team, saving an ally. I mean, those are big numbers right there for the Clockwork. But this doesn't happen if he's under a little bit more pressure in the lane. If he's, where an offlaner usually is, like Darkseer, level 5, granted dual lane status, but still, usually the Clockwork will just not be able to do anything there. But they save Derp. They hold on to the first blood, and it's one
mid.
kill.
Like, I think that's it. Like, you killed the mid who came to gank. You're good. So, but yeah, Swindle's just gonna go back to middle. Switching over to net worth just quickly, we can see, with that kill, with Swindle being out of lane for a while, TA has caught back up quite a bit. Gyro had to go home. Wyvern is hiding behind the tower because Dope is pretty sure he's gonna go down, even if he reveals the Splinter Blast. They'll get an early tower push out of this for complexity, but it might just go the same way as last game, where early tower's not gonna quite net you into the win you're looking for. And we have a TP rotation. Can they get the deny? They do pop the glyph. Jeezy has a good amount of damage, but so many heroes. Swindle thinking about coming bottom, it looks like, and Jeezy gonna take that fire blast. This tower is in deny. Between Dope, they can get it. They have to get it before Swindle gets down here. There's gonna be, can they get it? They do get it, but Swindle, he's gonna kill off at least Dope. There's a rocket flying down as well. The cooldown coming out. Can they kill MJW? They do. They managed to pick him off. Here comes Swindle. Will he get it with a static link? But again, a hook shot of dreams. But now Xuan doesn't want to be here. He needs to get out of Swindle's wrath. Dope is somehow still alive, just hiding in the trees. I don't know what he's doing. Where is the cold embrace, Dope? He's just gonna use it. He'll probably fall eventually to the static field. Yeah, there we go. Dope finally goes down, but he and the Gyro stayed around on super low health for ages, and Complexity's ganks just not connecting. And again, Xuan, such early presence as a Clockwork, for goodness sake, that didn't have a great lane.
Yeah, just always being there with that hook shot. They are trying to catch up to Stanking up towards top lane, though just outside the sentry range, the Downhudger's gonna find himself in an okay position where he's not gonna die, but not really a great position to get out of here. For Complexity, they just mistimed that very, very slightly. If the Razor was a little bit closer, then you probably get that kill and don't lose the Darkseer, but they just, I guess, mismeasured the distance. They had a little bit of miscommunication, what have you, and MJW ended up charging right into a Rocket Barrage. And this is level 3 Rocket Barrage at this point. It hurts like hell. They're actually going to see Stanking again up towards top. He's going to walk into Sentry, walk out of it.
I'm pretty sure he has a good idea where the sentry is. He, of course, is taking quite... Oh, now he doesn't realize he's standing right on top of a new one. Stan King gonna go down. By Stan King. Getting a nice needed kill on Zizzy. So,
but his reinforcements are here.
Yeah, it looks like they'll win Winter's Curse. Oh, the cooldown as well. Arctic Burn, this is a very dead way too. And support for a support, I think almost more worth it for Root Gaming, just because if you look at the number of sentries they had to expend, although Root is now dropping out some of their own. And Jeezy just goes back to farming middle. Has to be a bit careful with Swindle around. He could static link you up. He moves like a race car with that unstable current, but gonna calm down everything. Oh, no, Swindle is going and he has a haste rune as well. This is very, very deadly for the Gyro. A lot of TPs were expended up top, so he's trying to get away, trying to not take as much damage, but he finally does go down, and now Doped might pay for his life as well. TPing in, Xuan looking for that hook shot. Swindle is quite low, gets it, even though Swindle is hasted. Well played. Swindle needs to eat his way out, but the battery assault meaning he can't, and Swindle goes down. And let's see if they want to do some business to Jakiro. Z-Freak backing all the way out, so he's going to be fine. And again, Swindle's aggressiveness not paying off.
Yeah, he got a kill, but in this situation, you want to get out of that kill. Z-Freak in a little bit of trouble, actually. Will drop a lot of damage to Stan King. Not lethal damage. And looks like the Clockwork, again with the cogs, will get a kill.
Well, he get it. Yeah, he does get the lost hit. He might pay for his life here. It's not quite sure. He'll take a lot of damage. There's another dog packed up, and if he needs to, he can pop that Shadow Dance to get the speed boost. So ZZ probably going to be fine. He actually doesn't use the pounce. I'm really surprised he didn't just use the Shadow Dance for the kill. It feels like an easy way to get the kill there. So... And it's not a super long cooldown, but Zizzy probably had other bigger plans. I'm sure these players know better than us.
Yeah, you never really want to be too cavalier with your ultimate as a Slark, because as soon as you use it offensively, like 30 seconds later, you always need it defensively.
Yeah.
That's always how it goes as a Slark. So I can't really blame him for holding on to his farm. He has the Hanamitis, and he really just wants to get his farm up. As Complexity, they're doing decently on the Razor and the Slark. TA is still leading, but we can see the impact, or really lack thereof, that 747 has had on this game. Power Tread's going to go for a fast Desolator, and that is fantastic, but she actually has to start fighting if she's going to make use of this Deso.
Yeah, on the other hand, Xuan, with all of his early impact, already has a Blade Mail. This is fantastic. It's often a bit of trouble for the Clockwork because he might not... Oh, the hook shot again onto Swindle Melons. Is TA going to come and help out? She's, of course, outside of the cogs, but has enough range, doing a lot of damage because the damage steal was from Clock, and Xuan setting up a million kills, it feels like. In the meantime, in top, we've got a lot of action going on. Winter's Arctic Burn coming out. The tower's almost dead. They don't have Glyph, of course. Winter's Coast, that was the funkiest one I've ever seen. ZZ doesn't actually manage to get the tower either. He leapt away as it was being cast, I guess?
Yeah, I mean...
That's really cool.
Doesn't stop the pounce necessarily. I've never seen the moving iceberg either, but that is pretty sweet. Well, it is worth it for Root to drop that ultimate simply because they get the tower deny. It was Gyrocopter to take that one away, and well, Razor getting picked off is nothing but good things for Root, especially since the Templar Assassin was involved in that. Now is just that much closer to her Desolator, has a second hammer available to her, and they have Stand King, not quite at level 6 yet. This is really the point in time where you want to have the Bounty Hunter grab that track, get the hook shots up on your Clockwork, and get the Desolator up, then just hunt for kills 24/7.
Unfortunately, Xuan's going for a gank, but he's up in the lane where the Bounty Hunter was, so it's completely sentryed up. I also thought the Winter's Curse pounce was really funky just because he pounced into allies, and so they started attacking him, and I, hadn't seen that before. But it's pretty cool either way. Actually, yeah, looking like there's going to be a smoke rotation, and there is. Oh, it's going to be the Slark Invis with the Ion Shell on him. A little bit surprised with his early farm. He didn't decide to go for a Shadow Blade. I think it maybe would have a bit more game impact, but a lot of these players have preferred builds, I imagine. And I am getting a spot of lag.
Well, hopefully you see GZ in a lot of trouble right now.
GZ's taking everything in the kinetic field and the pounce. He's got no way out. And ZZ killing GZ.
It's just the classic wrong neighborhood type thing.
Yeah.
Like, you just walk into 3 heroes, whatever, shit happens, you can't always avoid it, but with no Gyrocopter, that means no call down. And no call down is a lot of the damage output from Root. Complexity are geared up and ready to fight, and Zizzy's going even behind the tower. They're ready to fight. I don't think they're this ready to fight. They're going to actually see the Winter Wyvern.
They're going to catch him. Dub in the meantime. Going to use the Winter's Curse, but a Static Storm onto 2. Dub's going to go down. Can 747 do anything? I don't know. They do manage, beautiful Macro Pyre as well, burning through all of them. 747's trying to find a way up. It has the Thunderstrike, manages to pop those refractions, but I think this just delays the inevitable. Those will get picked off on her really quickly with the Dog Pact. Can she do anything? She's got a meld up, but of course they're going to just jump an Ion Shell all over her and no way out. A 2-for-4 fantastic team fight for Root Gaming. Was the Gyrocopter there?
Gyrocopter was dead, so you can't actually contribute at all. Bounty Hunter didn't even get level 6 from that engagement, and the dream happened, like, you vacuum people into enemy cogs with Macro Pyre. Like, that is just never really supposed to happen ever, yet somehow Complexity find the right angles. Macro Pyre did so much damage over the past fight to all of the enemies, and it also killed Z-Freak because Clockwork had Blade Mail up, so hell, he got like 3 kills out of it if you include himself. You can't always land a Macro Pyre like that, but man, when you do, feels real good.
Yeah. Very well done from Complexity, and puts them at a solid 3, almost 4,000 net worth and experience lead. They're doing very well all of a sudden, and their heroes scale excellently. Slot can be a super hard carry, so he doesn't have to worry about that. On the top lane, casual Macro Pyre hookshot that's off the mark, catapults. Catapult blocking that, Blade Mail in the Macro Pyre. He's not doing enough damage, so it's a bit rude. I'm not gonna lie. Dub also using he tries to use the Arctic Burn to escape. He's going to use the the Cold Embrace, but here comes the rest of Complexity. I don't think Dub is getting out of this one. He's probably just gonna slowly fall. Lock.
Another kill for Complexity. Chalk another one up. Templar Assassin Desolator, though in theory allows Root to fight things out. Not if you're constantly getting picked off. They finally have the track here on the Bounty Hunter, but how useful is track provision if you're just going to end up being 5-man? It looks like that's kind of the plan here for Complexity. Maybe not all in on it, but this track may just be a little bit too late for the Bounty Hunter to actually have a significant contribution to this game.
Yeah, there's also going to be a few people who can purge that off of themselves. The Dark Pact, of course, getting rid of it. I think Guardian Greaves gets rid of Track. I'm not 100% sure on that one.
Should, yeah.
I think it does, because it is a Dispel, a normal Dispel. So, a lot of things that, yeah, Track has a super short cooldown. Oh, actually, Bounty Hunter running right into ZZ. There is a Gyrocopter around the corner. He's really hard to kill because of that Shadow Dance. They do have a lot of AoE damage. They just throw out the Track, and yeah, you can see he's going to Dark Pact it off immediately. Wanting nothing to do with that. So, and as you said, 747, she has up the Deso. She's going to have the Blink soon, but I don't know how useful. And actually, they're going on her 747, taking the pounce. She's invisible, but there are sentries and a Static Storm. They don't even care if she's invisible. They have the AoE damage. Jeezy going to go down as well. This lineup of Root Gaming just falling apart. Can Swindles find anything on the back lines? He's just going to back out. And Jakira wasn't even there for that engagement. He just got styled on Root Gaming. Not prepared, not expecting Complexity to be so deep.
And also teleporting into a Static Storm, not exactly recommended for any hero, let alone a Gyrocopter. So kind of a suicidal afterplay there from the Root side. And Complexity getting a free kill that honestly they shouldn't have gotten. But as I said, with no Jakiro up on that top lane, probably no Jakiro on the bottom lane rather, probably no push happening down here, at least not unless they also get Schwann. They have Glimpse Vision, there it is.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a very dead Clockwork. He'll probably give a little bit of damage back. Oh, he hookshots away to the creeps. Well played, Clockwork. Well played, Schwann. Turns out he does know how to play heroes other than the Darkseer. I think really a little bit Complexity, maybe not expecting that play, maybe thinking the creeps were dead or something. So well played there after getting glimpsed back. I want to talk about how Darkseer already has a blink. He'll have the Guardian Greaves up whenever he feels. Maybe he'll wait till he needs an item slot. But this blink, it's so devastating, right? You just cause so much more chaos all over the map.
With this blink, you might actually be able to, again, land that combo of vacuum into the enemy cogs with Macropyre. Like, that actually becomes a possibility. Yeah. And Jakiro got jumped up towards top, but not in much trouble. Who's in trouble with bottom lane?
The glimpse back on Dub. He can't get out of the kinetic field, even with that flying vision. Does the casual Winter's Curse. Going to do a lot of damage to MJW, actually, but no follow-up. Schwann can't seem to find a good angle, and even if he did, his hookshot is on cooldown, just doing a bit of casual damage back to the Darkseer with the Blade Mail. He's been doing that a lot, but it's not feeling like enough. And if this does go late, I'm a little bit worried. The Gyrocopter not farming maybe as well as we need him to be. TA is actually farming really well, just hasn't had a lot of game impact. Should be having the blink up soon, but it's still saving. Yeah, there she just buys it out. So, not feeling like it's enough.
Oh, they get a hook
and
shot.
I hear a hook shot going off. Who was the hook shot on? We got it on the back lines. Oh, on Swindles again. They love him, but he eats his way out of the cogs and doesn't manage to go down there. So,
and he has plus 63 damage stolen right now. He wants to fight. If they can find someone to glimpse back, can't. They're just going slow and steady for this bottom lane. And for Root, they don't really have the split push of last game. So this tower is going to fall. And once this tower falls, Complexity can actually just rotate through all the other objectives. The rest of the tier 2s go for Roshan, or just kill off the Bounty Hunter if they drop a random sentry. Oh.
Ironically, they seem to have a better split push than they did last game, where they had the
Bounty Hunter though
lineup.
Courier.
Yeah, what is he doing? Yeah, he gets the courier. At the same time, Slock is hunting Wyvern again. Doped up, probably gonna fall. He might be able to get, yeah, it doesn't even matter if he gets the Cold Embrace, because with the Ion Shell plus the Dark Pact, he's a very dead Wyvern. And in the mid lane, they're just gonna go for that push. It's the tier 2, another objective for Complexity. They are now about 7.5 thousand gold and experience ahead. That is a sizable lead. That just means that your team has items and levels that your opponents don't. We can take a look and see that they're super out-leveling this lineup of Root Gaming on Complexity.
And you would expect Root to have the momentum of this stage in the game with the Bounty Hunter. The tracks have not yet gotten any gold for the Bounty, I want to say. If it has, it's just been like 1. Complexity just have not been dying. The fact that the Gyrocopter is very underfarmed, usually not a terribly huge deal, but Root are just getting picked off one at a time. Like, if they were a little bit more together, maybe they would be able to take these fights, but with the Glimpse power just being held by the Disruptor, with the gank power of a Shadowblade Slark, they're going to run it right into a smoke and blow it with 2 Invis heroes.
Yeah, smoke goes down. They didn't have any sort of detection. A beautiful 3-man vacuum. Then there's a Static Storm as well, not as good. Winter's Curse comes out onto Way 2, gonna take both of that. Probably gonna go down. There's a Shuriken. First track kill of the game. Who is Slot going all over? Trying to go on Doped Up, but actually the Cogs repositioning him in a sort of bad way. ZZ1, he doesn't have anything else. They managed to pick up the raid boss of Slot. That's gonna be a huge amount of gold. This guy is doubling the next. His network just went shut down because of that. Yeah, a casual 2,500 gold exchange for Root Gaming, killing off that top net worth Slog, who was doubling the Gyrocopter at one point. After that kill, not so much. fantastic for them, and suddenly I thought they were goners after that 3-man vacuum. That thing was beautiful.
Yeah, I honestly don't think it was. The wall is really important there. The important thing is that you land the vacuum into Static Storm.
Yeah.
They landed the vacuum wall.
Static Storm was
great,
somewhere
but
else.
Static Storm is nowhere close. So
Yeah.
no chance for Complexity to take a team fight without that Static Storm. At least doing a second of silence. It did absolutely nothing there.
And it sounded like Slock maybe wasn't on the same page as the rest of them, trying to go for that long-range glimpse. It's nighttime, so not going to latch even with those ward visions. It feels like Slock didn't realize that they were going to land a beautiful vacuum because he wasn't there. Slock, with the Dark Pact, has huge amounts of AoE. They're going to probably pick up Gyro if he's not careful here. Oh. Okay, so they pause after it, but also not only do we have this issue, Gyrocopter, he should be able to get out here. I'm not sure they'll throw out the Ice Path. They snuck the Roche. It's very easy to do with the Templar Assassin because she has the Meld Strike, and I don't think we have a medallion out yet, but Gyrocopter, he's got 2 more seconds on TP. They might just blind Ice Path him. I don't know if Z-Freak, no, Z-Freak didn't see him, so Gyrocopter gets out. This is huge. Somehow Root Gaming sneak a Roche on, and not somehow, that's what happens when you kill your opponents.
Yeah, then they get the Roche on. They have to once again go on the defense, however. Complexity have enough pickoff power to fight through this Aegis. It might be a little bit too risky for them, so they may just, try to greedily push this tower if they can, yet stray away from a fight. But Root still, even with this Aegis, have all of their eggs in this Templar Assassin basket, whether intentionally or not. If she gets picked off, if she gets caught in Static Storm and, caught in the vacuum wall, all these are very plausible, then the fight for Root just goes to shit and they just all get obliterated. So they have to be super careful here.
Now Slock is standing right on top of a sentry. Hookshot onto Swindle Melons. He's low again, but the force off out, and now Shuan, he's the one taking a lot of damage. He is cold and braced up. There is going to be a nice cooldown, but Vacuum killing off Shuan. Winter's Curse onto the Slock. Can they kill him off before he gets other things off? In the meantime, on the backlines, TA is trying to do TA things, but you can't quite line up the lines, and they're going to kill off Jakiro first instead of going for the more aggressive heroes. He can't stand up to this Gyrocopter and the TA combo. So again, a fantastic fight for Root Gaming, and I think if they had been able to catch a few more, Bounty Hunter's still hunting. I don't think he'll catch anyone. Swindle doesn't have a TP. I don't know if Bounty can take him down here with Shuriken. It's a bit hard with that unstable current, but Stan King, if anyone can do it, he's going to try. There's the auto attack. There's going to be the Shuriken. Can he get one more auto attack? What if the creeps get it? It'll be horrible. 8 more seconds. He's not going to pursue.
I mean, you go for it as the Bounty Hunter. Just, it wasn't in the cards, but, whatever. That's just going to happen sometimes. I think the thing that really went wrong there for Complexity was the fact that they started that fight out with Razor at half HP. He was going behind the tier 2 tower at half HP. That's not a move you make unless you have an Aegis, and it's TA with the Aegis. So Complexity voluntarily putting themselves at a disadvantageous position to start things out. If they had Razor with, half his health bar more in that fight, they could have cleaned house, because the Jakiro's Macropyre was doing so much damage to the Gyrocopter. Beautiful. That, at the very least, would have been another kill for Complexity. But instead, they have to walk away after losing the Slark and Jakiro.
Yeah, now Gordian Greaves are up on Dogs here. Just makes it a little bit harder for folks to kill him off. He can use that mech business more easily.
All Swindles, though.
Yeah, he is about to walk into this, and surprise kind of for both of them. That's a BKB. Templar Assassin actually going ham on Swindle, and he's like, maybe I don't want to fight you. I stole damage, but not from you. Swindle going down the hook shot again from Shuan. Beautiful, but can they get the last auto attack? It's not enough damage. Now Shuan going to die from that Static Storm. Can they do anything to MDW? It doesn't look like, and stand in 747 going to use that Aegis. Needs a way out. Should be able to blink out of this, but not if the wall is there. Can she get the blink away? She's going to have to, oh no, can't get it. And Refraction's on up. She just goes down.
I'm pretty sure there's timing windows where you can get out from the Macropyre, but I don't think you can get out from the wall. That should just pop immediately. So that is the Aegis Templar Assassin down. Stan King is, well, luckily for himself, invisible. For Complexity, that was, I think, how the fight in the mid lane was supposed to go in their mind, with Razor using his ridiculous natural survivability to barely skate out of there. And it worked this time, but obviously it's not exactly a super dependable strategy. The Guardian Greaves from Darkseer coming in huge there, and of course Complexity able to reinforce very quickly with this Slark just buzzing around everywhere with the Shadow Blade and moving at almost max movement speed. Will be in almost any given fight. Yeah, the Aegis for Root really, as I said, just not doing enough. It's not what they need right now. What they need is gold in this Gyrocopter. If they could somehow sell the Aegis for the Gyrocopter, they'd be happy, but can't do that.
Oh. In mid lane, we see that Dub has picked up a blink on the Wyvern, so we got some more beautiful setup from Root Gaming. They've already got the hook shot from downtown. They're also going to be having Wyvern, Blink, Winter's Curse. Maybe something they can do about Slark. Now here, do you think you Winter's Curse the Slark or the Razor and have the Slark kill his Razor?
I think you just gotta nail down the Slark. You could try to get both of them, and if you can get both of them, then, well, still get the Slark, but you take what you can get with Root because they don't really have that many crowd control effects. You gotta make sure you kill off this hero. Once you take him off the table, yeah, I mean, Complexity still have some mixed threats, but Slark is doing by far the most damage, and he's the softest. Oh, Stan King going to run into two heroes.
They just smoked, and oh gosh, they actually didn't find him? How did Stan King get out? What a Stan, what a king. He's just gonna walk it off. Like, they did really late Sentry. They placed it also forwards, I think expecting him to juke down instead of up into the trees. And Stan King, he is off. He is safe. He could still die to someone, but he is gone. He does not want any of the business to do with Complexity. And Templar Assassin should have her BKB on the way. This is going to help out a lot. I think that Disruptor, he isn't going to get his Aghanims for a long time. Maybe also going a 4-staff to help people out of the cogs in the interim.
The BKB on Templar Assassin is the item that Sun 47 needed in that last jungle fight. If he has that, Static Storm Field does absolutely nothing. There shouldn't be an Aghanim Scepter on this Disruptor for quite a long time. Zizzy still hunting for Stan because he knows when he's spotted, given an Invisible Bounty Hunter. Unfortunately, he has no gem. But yeah, this is the item that really turns the Templar Assassin active. She could just go ham and really not worry about too much. Still does have to worry about getting damage drained out by the Razor, but as long as she has enough recognition in the fight to say, oh hey, I'm losing damage, I should leave, she should be just a force to be reckoned with.
So excited to see what damaged item she goes next. Always like to see them big crits, or if she decides she has to go on MKB. I'm a little bit surprised by this. Oh gosh, yeah, they catch Stan King. I said Stan Lee some of this game, haven't I? Oh yeah.
I'm sure Stan Lee will be honored.
Yeah, it's my brain. I'm not the coolest of cats, so that's the other name I go to. So Stan King going to be finally caught out, and now Razor hunting. I wonder when someone's going to pick up. I was kind of expecting Solar Crest against a TA, certainly. Looks like Xuan just going to TP out. Can he get it? It looks like he's going to be fine. Nobody really building up those items, so I'm interested to see if TA needs to even go an MKB with the evasion looking lacking on Complexity.
I mean, you just want to be able to take Zizzy in a man fight if needed, but I think she should at this point just prioritize her survivability just a little bit more. BKB is nice, but still up against the Razor and Slark, tough sell. Complexity probably just waiting out for the next Roche. We don't know the timer just yet, but the problem is with Complexity, as nice as it is to have that Aegis, you're working up against Templar Assassin, so traps will always give vision. Clockwork has always been landing his hook shots, and it looks like he wants to land another hook shot onto the Zizzy Slark. It's going to be a tough kill.
I think they can do it, though, with the blink on Dup as well. They just have to land this hook. They're waiting for the creep. They do the Winter's Curse first. Now they can use the cogs and the hook shot just to keep it in place. Yeah, that's a very dead Slark. Zizzy goes down, and maybe they can transfer this into a top push. Probably just going to be maybe a group take another objective. You should feel, even though you use the Winter's Curse and the hook shot of course has a bit of a low cooldown, and the cooldown does as well, so you should probably be able to slay. Slay is all I was getting to. I am a little bit surprised as well. Both of these teams, it's really close. I thought Complexity had a bit of a good lead, especially with the towers and with the team fights they had been successfully taking, but we're within 5,000 gold of each other and 5,000 experience, much closer than I expected. And TA, of course, with the Deso, takes down towers like a knife through butter.
The fact that GZ, the gyrocopter, is able to farm very quickly, whereas for Complexity, their heroes, at least their heroes who had a lot of net worth, can't really keep up with the gyrocopter's farm. He was able to survive for the most part of those most recent fights. So Complexity, yeah, getting some kills, but not on the gyrocopter. So he's able to kind of balance things out. Now has SNY, now has his drums, and now is actually a more sufficient force for Root Gaming, besides just the fact that he has Call Down and Rocket Barrage, which is still good, but he is a little bit more than that. He is a hero that is very, very tanky, yet does need to be answered. Otherwise, he'll just grind you down to dust with his guns. So Root Gaming just walk towards top lane, of course, after the Slark kill, grab the tier 2 tower. And now, for Complexity, they once again seem like they've lost a good portion of their momentum. And I just realized this right now, but Root Gaming are up one game. The tabs on the top aren't.
Yeah, so this is what also surprises me. They are a really new team. This is a completely different team that played in the majors, right? This is 3 new players on Root, and they're performing really well. I don't want to say that they're performing better than their majors lineup, but they're certainly taking it to Complexity, who 2-0'd them. And yeah, even your dog agrees with me. That's how true my point is.
She's good at this game.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I saw the movie at TI. We've got Swindle as well. It looks like maybe he's going for an AC. I'm just not sure if that's... Oh gosh, Stan King maybe going to be caught out again. Who has the gem? Doxia has the gem, but they're just letting him go. Because they have the glimpse. He's not getting out of this. Uses the mech. Stan King, though, gonna eventually fall. Maybe his team not close enough to do anything. They're all grouped up looking like Dope wants to smoke or D-ward or something.
The fact is that they're trying to, like, just get their own farm up. Haru 747 was split pushing up towards top, but ended up running into a Slark, and then we get a damage test where we see if either of these two heroes are able to kill off one another, and Slark just went to town on this Templar Assassin, forced out the 10-second BKB charge and the TP. Luckily for TA, she got out of there, but Izzy is definitely strong enough to take the Templar Assassin in the man fight right now, and it looks like that man fight might just be coming. Complexity have a 5v4 on their hands, and their Darkseer is in absolutely the perfect position with Way 2.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting people to get vacuumed onto high ground for Root Gaming if they decide to go in here. I wouldn't be surprised if they just give it up. It's not something you want to take and fail at, as we've talked about. They're just throwing rockets, trying to slow this down, trying to get a good idea if they can go in. They will have the Winter's Curse, which is really powerful. Jeezy just gonna drop the cooldown, popping his BKB, gonna be no vacuum pin, but Dope immediately killed off. He can't use the Winter's Curse. Way 2 takes a lot of damage. He's down, but he's done his job. Nice Ice Pulse catching the Clockwork as well, who will eventually fall. And now it is a 2-for-1. They don't want to go in here. Bounty Hunter will be getting in soon. But the TA looking like she's taking a lot of damage. She doesn't have refraction. She's just gonna fall. And this looking like Root Gaming has lost the Roshan and maybe lost even more.
That fight, like, pretty much as soon as Razor and Gyrocopter bump heads, like, they were at melee range. Gyrocopter had BKB, so he was feeling fine, but Razor got the static link on the Gyrocopter. Pretty much as soon as that happened, it was over. Like,
Yeah.
They need this Gyrocopter to be putting out some sort of damage output. Templar Assassin was lagging behind a little bit, but, you know, more importantly than anything, they need this Razor to not be doing damage. He's gone for Shivas, he's gone for BKB. It's a rather defensive-oriented item build, so if he's not able to get a good static link off, he's a pretty useless hero, or at least not as useful as Complexity really need, but because he did get the static link off for a very long duration on the perfect target, Complexity, like, as soon as they landed that, we're going to win that fight.
Yeah, so I'm kind of surprised by Swindlemelon's build. As you said, with the Shivas, he doesn't have damage other than static link, leaving it all up to Slark. But I can understand building, you know, I'm the tank, you deal with me, Slark will steal all of your essence, and none of you suddenly do any damage on Root Gaming. Now this game, it's still pretty even after that big gold swing. It's not like it's out of contention, but the team fight feeling like it's firmly in Complexity's hands. They went this big team fight lineup, and it's really paying off in these engagements.
And Root, they didn't have the Bounty Hunter nearby. I think he was still respawning from before, so not even much potential for tracks. End of the day, it's still Complexity to have the Aegis, and Slark holding on to quite a bit of gold. But, you know, with that Aegis, they can once again turn on the Jakiro pushing engine and just start pushing for probably top lane. Given how the last couple of fights have went for Complexity, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be too scared to just move down the lane. You're muted again.
I am, in fact. I was checking your sound. I'm really not the brightest. Don't mind me, folks, though. We've got a Lotus Orb up on Darkseer. I like it. It means that Wyvern has to be really careful about using that Winter's Curse, although sometimes you don't care, right? Sometimes you just blink in, use it from an angle where your team's not near you, and it's not as devastating. Of course, the Lotus Orb can be also used to purge things off, like slows, so gonna be interesting to see what Darkseer can do with this Lotus Orb. Jakiro also has Forstaff and Yules.
The full-on initiating type build, like
Yeah.
Lina-esque for the Jakiro. I'm a little bit more surprised to see Lotus Orb this game than the last. Like, trading away, or I guess countering the Winter's Curse with one of your own is very nice, but aside from that, Root don't really have any devastating single target skills like a Doom from last game, but still, like, there's a Shiva's Guard and Swindle, so your Darkseer isn't going to be going for that. It does free him up to go for little bits of a more unconventional item build because of the fact that Razor has gone for a Shiva's Guard over an AC.
And again, Root Gaming's trying to just trade. They're saying you can push this tier 2, but we instead are going to maybe get some work done in bottom, maybe somewhere else. Actually, Slork is just killing off the creep wave, and he is now the gem carrier. They take the lost outer tower for Root. Complexity in a great position. Swindle looks like he's building up that Aghanims next, and with his build, he can just stand out there, be super aggressive, and they can't kill him off. Also, Gyro forced to BKB TP out on that bottom lane.
That's a pretty expensive TP out.
Oh, they're gonna run right into the Slork. TA just blinks away, even pops BKB to TP out. These BKB usages are really liberal from Root Gaming, considering that they are, they were the long BKBs. If it's 5 seconds, I'm used to seeing that, but Slork might even get caught out here. It's, Stan King might get caught out. It's nighttime, but Slork has increased nighttime vision, so Stan King not gonna have a good time. Tries to TP out. Do they have enough? Oh, they get him. Stan King just going down there.
It's a bounty hunter with no health items, so yeah, that's probably going to be a kill for Slork. And he's
got effective HP.
Can he find this courier? It has so much stuff on it. It's a completed Demon Edge, right, for 747. Yeah, it is completed. Zizzy wants this. I don't know if he saw the courier.
I think he did. He's got, Slork has fantastic.
Maybe he saw the items of the courier, rather. Run, courier.
I think they saw it with this ward. So,
there it is again.
Yeah, he's realizing he can't get it, and the Mushroom Lord gets away. He's like riding that broom like a skateboard. That's advanced broom riding technique. But in the game, Gyrocopter working on his butterfly. Do we have any sort of MKBs coming out from anyone? It doesn't look like it. Razor's finished the Ags, could go for it now. Slork, I don't think interested in going in MKB, but he's going to be forced to shortly. He has plenty of item slots left.
Yeah, it's not really a terribly huge issue that he has that evasion. Pretty sure you can just get Silver Edge alternatively if you want to have a very short-term solution to that, but hey, Slork still probably can get enough damage on this Gyrocopter in a man fight, since Gyrocopter is, again, one of those more spread-out damaged heroes. Complexity are, again, grouping. They still have the Aegis, but it's not going to last for much longer. They're probably just going to try to suicide Zizzy.
Yeah, I don't think Break applies to items you've built up, so I'm not sure if the Silver's Edge will work, but we'll see either way. It does 40% damage reduction, and they're working on this tower. Slork going in ham, he's just auto-attacking it. They've got 2 tanky frontliners, it's kind of unfortunate. He can also just always pop, you don't want to use it that way, but he can pop the Shadow Dance and just tank it. So, Root looking like they might be forced to a game 3 if they're not careful with this hold. They have to get off some beautiful Winter's Curse, and be careful of that Static Storm. It is a 4-star, so way away from the Aghanim Static Storm, but it is looking rough, and
this is a little bit over-aggressive, I think, for Complexity. If you have the Aegis, fine, go for this, but without the Aegis, you really do need a pick-off. Like, as far as Slarks
it just
go,
expired.
They're okay in like those man fights, but they really excel at getting pickoffs and having small-scale engagements. But by going up high ground, you're forcing a large engagement. That's where Jakiro and Darkseer and Disruptor get a lot better, but Slark gets a lot worse.
Yeah, I think it's also really, really hard. Oh, Wyvern Blunk backwards. I think it's really hard at this point in the game, though, where you have all of your enemies tier 2s finished to get a smoke gank, right? What are the odds they're actually out of their base? And now maybe Root Gaming, they did ping out the Razor, knowing that Slork is top lane, but he moves so fast with that Shadow Dance buff, so I don't know how Root holds this. It feels like they have to actually wait for Darkseer to make a mistake. And Slork pounces in. Refraction charges were just off cooldown. She uses the BKB, but she's still going to be held in place. The cooldown, they're doing the Winter's Curse on Swindle Melons. Nobody used the Lotus Orb in time. There's also the hookshot on the backlines. People getting pushed around like it's nobody's business. They've taken out the Razor. Can they get ZZ? He doesn't have the Shadow Dance anymore, but finally the wall vacuum Macropia combo. It's doing so much damage. People just trying to TP out of it, but they're going to go down. Gyrocopter's dead. 747 trying to fight on the front lines, but I don't think she has anything left on that TA, and she gets ice pulsed up, and Wyvern left alone to defend. I don't think has anything. There is going to be a buyback trying to use that Splinter Blast to decentivize the push forwards, but it's not going to work, and Slork, he's going to start hammering on your towers. Clockwork buys back as well. Does he have the hookshot? No. It's on cooldown for a while. Clockwork trying to throw rockets, but ZZY just going to tank it all. He's going to dog packed off that rocket immediately, and now Complexity realizing maybe they've overstayed their welcome. A huge gold exchange for Complexity. They're going back in. They've used the Shadow Dance, and nobody had vision there. They put the Slork into the Clockwork clogs, but that's not where you want to be. You don't want to be trapped in there with him, and that's a dieback for the Clockwork. Unless Root pulls a rabbit out of somewhere, they're not going to have anything. Cooldown being used, but I don't think ZZY cares at this point. Pops the Shadow Dance, getting up Essence stacks, and that is a melee Rax going down. ZZY, probably content with that, is going to leave.
I don't really know if a rabbit would have helped them there. Zizzy, with the Shadow Blade, can still just turn around and go back in. This time there's a sentry, so they will see the Slark coming in, but whether or not they can fight the Slark afterwards, that's a different question entirely. That's now 2 gems for Complexity, forcing Root to buy another one of the Winter Wyvern, and clearly Winter Wyvern's not surviving for very long, so that gem might just go towards Complexity as well. I was going to criticize Complexity for being very hesitant at using that Static Storm. Like, they jumped in, they had Slark and Razor right next to each other for the curse. That's not exactly the positioning they want, but they were very patient with those ultimates, and it could have bit them in the ass if they were too patient. They ended up getting a 3-man, and then once that combo lands, it's just game over for Root, or at least fight over for Root.
Yeah, they're gonna drop the cooldown, but it's gonna whiff on everybody in Slark. Now thinking about coming in, he can also sneak into their base just because sentries don't actually get vision. I think the buildings will spot him. I'm not quite sure on their daytime vision. Oh yeah, the buildings will be more than enough. So, but you can definitely do some sneaky plays with the tower down. You can do some smokes into your opponent's base, and looks like Complexity going to be taking this to a game 3. They're now working on this tier 3. Root really has to make the best of this push. Flat cannons on cooldown though, and there's going to throw out rockets, but either it'll be destroyed or it'll just tickle the Razor. He doesn't care for your rockets at this point in the game. It's also a level 1 rocket still, so
massive damage, 125. So much deeps. There's no split push going on here for Root either, so they're all in on this push. And you look at their buyback status. The Clockwork we saw before already bought out and then died straight after. The Gyrocopter doesn't have his for another 4 minutes, and the TA just doesn't have enough gold for hers. So if you get kills on the Radiant side, they're pretty much done. So Derp has one, but who cares if Derp has a buyback?
Now we're going to be seeing Swindle Mounds going hand. The Lotus Orb is on cooldown. That thing has a really good percentage of uptime. I believe it's like 50. Oh, Dope goes in for the aggressive Winter's Curse. He's having ZZ kill off his teammate, but then there is an Ice Pulse stopping a lot of those attacks. Standing 747 already used his BKB, but he's taking so much damage. Gyrocopter is trying to do something, but GZ just doesn't seem to have enough damage yet. Static Storm right on top of him, pulling them back into the Static Storm. They've locked down ZZ, but the Templar Assassin is dead. Doesn't have buyback. ZZ is still going ham. There's a wall. They're trying to walk through it. Maybe they'll get something, but GZ goes down, and ZZY just still chasing away. Glimpse back. This is going to be a dead bounty hunter as well. And that is going to be Rax once Complexity decides to come in. Yeah, that's our GG call. So we're going to a game 3.
And Zizzy's so close to going down there. But if you're close to dead, that means you're still alive. And Root, they just went a little bit too aggressive. I feel like that was, again, theoretically at least, the best Arctic curse, Winter's Curse that they could possibly ask for, but it was a little bit too far out. If they had Templar Assassin and Gyrocopter right next to those targets beating down at them, got either the Razor or the Slark, maybe by some miracle both, then they would still be playing this game, but Derp landing the good ultimate, however, not at the correct place.
Yeah, so not enough coming out of Root Gaming, so Complexity ties up the series 1-1. We'll be getting into game 3 as fast as possible, folks. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm Llama Down Under. I would love your feedback on how to get better as a caster. You can leave that on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Llama